Welcome. I'm just getting set up here. Welcome to the Herd's Wacky Wednesday. I don't even know what day of the week it is. That was a bit of a rush for me to get ready for this. I just gotta do some things here. And this might be better. Okay. Yeah, it's Wacky Wednesday. I'm trying to stream on Wednesdays. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a live stream, so might be a bit rusty. It's not that I haven't been riding at all. I've been riding quite a bit. I think just this week, in the last 7 days, I've put on 500 kilometers. My drivetrain's a bit noisier than I'd like. Anyway, you probably can't hear it. Just check I have noise suppression on here. Yep. So I think we're in Innsbruck for this ride. It's not my favorite course for a group ride because we have a good climb each time. And we all get separated climbing, and then we get separated going down the hill. We may regroup by the time we get to the bottom of the hill because we're going to probably do a few laps. And then the process starts all over again. We get separated. Oh well. I don't get to choose the courses. You know, for these group rides with, I don't know, we got 385, probably be over 400 by the time we actually start riding. Doesn't always work the best. But anyway, like I say, I'm not organizing the rides, so I just ride them. So, a couple things since I last did one of these live streams, or a few things. The big one is that I did my monthly 200 kilometer in real life ride. I did that a week ago tomorrow. And then started in Grimsby, Ontario. Started at 7 in the morning. I think it was -1 Celsius, 30 Fahrenheit. The winds were atrocious. Sustained wind speeds of 40 to 60 kilometers an hour. That'd be 25 to 35 miles per hour. And then we had gusts even up to 75 kilometers an hour. That'd be like gusts to I know, 50 miles an hour. So we had some atrocious winds. Well, I had some atrocious winds. It was the solar lights, and shouldn't say we. Yeah, it was pretty cold. Well, -1 to start. It had snowed lately on the couple of preceding days. Most of the roads were clear, not snow covered. But I did, in the early part of the ride, I did encounter a few short sections where the road was still covered with a bit of ice and snow. And since I started at 7 a.m., it was still dark out. And you could see the sky lightening up on the horizon. But I did have to take care. In fact, that was one of my big concerns with the ride was, oops, I'm getting beyond the fence here, was, encountering some black ice that I wouldn't see. And there's especially some sections, I guess around 25 kilometers into the ride, where I was going down some hills into shaded valleys. And I was quite concerned that I would encounter some ice on those roads, especially going downhill. Certainly didn't want to lose control and go down. Yeah, so I did encounter some ice, short icy sections, and I just took my time. Sometimes I unclipped one pedal. I mean, I was riding regular 25 millimeter road tires and wouldn't take much to slip out on that ice. So I took those sections quite tentatively. Like I say, on some of them, I unclipped at least one pedal. So if I did start to feel the wheel sliding out from me, under me, then I could put down a foot. That was good practice for later on. Anyway, the winds were from the west-southwest, and I was heading southeast for the first stretch. So while I was headed east, I had a nice wind at my back, but heading south, oh, it was brutal. Hardly made any headway at all. And that was down to Port Colborne on Lake Erie. And that was about 70 kilometers in, or 40 miles in. And then I followed the Lake Erie shoreline going east to Port Erie, which is just across the Niagara River from Buffalo, New York. And that ride wasn't too bad. Again, I had the wind primarily at my back there, but it was swirling around, so you'd think you'd be, oh yeah, I got the wind at my back, and all of a sudden you find out you didn't. And of course the road wasn't always dewy, so there were some stretches where I had headwinds there. And it took me, I started at 7 to get to Port Erie, which was about 105 kilometers in, or about 64 miles in. It took me about 4 hours and 40 minutes. And I had a control back in Port Colborne, but I never stopped, except long enough to take a picture to prove I was there. And in Fort Erie, well, I didn't stop long either. I popped into a convenience store, bought a bottle of water and a bottle of Gatorade and a chocolate bar. Well, actually, 2 chocolate bars, 2 Mars bars in one packet. I like those on the rides, especially I kind of save it for about 3/4 into the ride when my energy's flagging. I do carry gels with me, but I prefer the chocolate bars. Anyway, then I headed, I guess after that I was headed west all along the Niagara River, on the Niagara Parkway to Niagara Falls. And that was for about the next, 30 kilometers or 20 miles or so, and portions of that were tough. Not much assistance. But then every once in a while, the road would hit a bit of an angle and I'd get relief. Oh yeah, getting back to my time into Fort Erie. Sorry. It was 4 hours and 40 minutes. I guess by the time I left Fort Erie, it was getting closer to noon. By that was already 5 hours. And I knew sunset, it would start getting dark again. Oh, I think sunset was around 4:45 or something. So, and I was thinking, geez, it's 5 hours with these winds the way they are. Boy, I'm not going to finish till after dark. I had lights and everything, of course, but I wasn't really keen on finishing in the dark. Anyway, I left Fort Erie, made my way up to Niagara Falls, and at Niagara Falls, headed south again. And from Niagara Falls, it was just, after that, it was mostly a lot of riding, headed west, and the winds were terrible. There was one curve in the road where a gust hit me, and I got blown off onto a grassy shoulder. Luckily, I was able to unclip. Remember, I had some practice on clipping for the ice earlier in the day. And hey, I did some cyclocross a couple years back, and I think that also helped my bike handling and got used to jumping on and off the bike. So anyway, yeah, so I didn't go down, but I had to unclip, came to a stop, managed to stay upright. And it was just a slog. Every so often I'd have a section where I'd be going north and have the wind at my back. That was nice, but they didn't last too long. And then I'd come to a section where I have to go west again. I figured, okay, not too many kilometers. And I'd look at my Garmin, and they'd say, 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers, 8 kilometers. Oh, because it just wasn't making much time or headway. But lo and behold, I did finish the ride. It was 208 kilometers. We finished the ride at 4:18 p.m. So I was pretty happy that I could finish in daylight. Yeah, so that was and it was a tough ride, but I was determined to do it. I had taken up this challenge to do a 200-kilometer ride every month this year. And I had done all the other months of the year, including January, February, March, when we had some really cold weather. And I was determined to do that ride that day because, I was thinking back in my mind, why I could try to postpone to a date later in December. But, oh, here we're doing this climb. Sorry, I'm interrupting. This is where we're doing this climb in Innsbruck. Yeah, so I was thinking I could defer to another day in December. But the later you get into December, more chance of colder weather and snow. And I do have to apply for the dates on which I ride a week in advance. So you're never really sure. Even if you look at the weather forecast, you're really never sure what you're going to deal with. Okay, so that's my story about riding in real life. And oh, by the way, I did post a video of that. The ride is called Castle 200. So if you do go to my YouTube channel, you'll find a video on that ride. And then talking about videos, I just posted one yesterday. It's on giving ride-ons. I should give a ride-on here. And I'm giving something right on. Okay, we'll do it this way. Right on. Okay. So yeah, so I was saying I put out a video on giving ride-ons. It was interesting. I didn't think, well, how much interest is there going to be on a video on ride-ons? It's something we all do. And then I happened to have a chance to ride with someone who's fairly new to Zwift. And I was hearing that a person wasn't all that familiar with how to give ride-ons. So I thought, okay, well, I'll put together a video on ride-ons. So I cover, we just hit the top of that hill. So we covered, let me just slide here. So we covered why we give ride-ons, and then went through the many different ways you can give ride-ons, and there's so many multiple ways, both in-game, like in-game on the computer, on the Zwift app itself, and then multiple ways on the companion app, and then you can give ride-ons during the ride. You give ride-ons to riders who are still Zwifting after you've done, and you can give ride-ons to riders for rides that they've completed already. Anyway, there's so many multiple ways. And I had a section on how you can increase the number of ride-ons that you receive. Went through a few things you can do to do that for yourself. And had a section on the relationship between ride-ons and drops. That one, I would encourage you to watch the video. To be honest, I didn't even know this myself, except when I started doing some research and preparing for the video. And then I got to return to me here. Sorry. And then I guess I'm ahead of the red beacon here. It says return to group. And then, okay, where was I? yeah, so went through the relationship between ride-ons and drops. That's the one that surprised me. I didn't know about that. And then I talked about the badges that you can earn, both for receiving and for giving ride-ons. Anyway, if you catch that video, you might find it interesting. You know, I'm new to this, putting up these videos, and I find it takes a lot more work than I could have imagined. It's so time consuming. First, you got to plan what you want to do the video on and do some research, and then plan out how the videos, what you're going to cover in the video, and then you got to do takes. Why? That's, I have to laugh at myself many times. I'm doing a take and I get want to say something and I get tongue-tied. And I got to say it over and over and over again. So lots of takes. And then afterward, you got to review all the takes, see what you want to put together, and then start doing some video editing. I mean, from the video that I record, I would say, you know, maybe I use 15% of it, actually use 15% of it. So most of the recording ends up on the cutting floor, as they say. Yeah, but I'm enjoying doing it. It's a bit of a challenge. I'm learning, using some pretty rudimentary equipment to do this stuff with. But I'm getting a new webcam for Christmas, so I'll be happy for that, and a few other things. But it's not really the equipment that's the, yeah, they can make it better, the quality better, but it's really the content that's the challenge, and finding content that people will want to watch. Okay, one of the things I want to make a video on is the drone view. I discovered something by chance. Okay, here I'm using a keyboard here to change the view. So here I'm in keyboard view number 1. It's basically the default view. So if I go to the drone view by pressing 8, you can see the drone itself. I can go up above a bit, but from this view, the drone itself is maybe 6 feet off the ground. Okay, so now I'll go to view number 9 on the keyboard. This is the overhead view. But when I go to the drone view now, well, the drone is maybe 30 feet off the ground. You notice that? Well, that's odd. So you're a different view. So if I go from 1 to drone, and then I go from 9 to drone, it's a very different view. Okay, let's go from 8. This is 8. And we'll go to drone. Well, now I'm really high up. Okay, let's try that again. 9 to drone, 8 to drone. Oh, much higher. Look at that. Okay, let's try 7. This is the flyby view. I always like this one. So let's go to drone here. Okay, so if I go to drone here, it's like, let's try this 1 to drone. You see, like, the thing that's interesting is the view that you get with the drone is very much dependent on the preceding view. I'm just screwing around here. So, like, for 1, 2, and 3, it all seems the same. 4, yeah, the same. 5 to drone, the same. Sorry, I'm making you dizzy. 6 to drone. Now it's a bit different. So if I go back to 1 to drone, fairly tight. 2 to drone. It's probably even tighter. 6 to drone. Yeah, you just got a bit more separation here. 8 to drone, lots of separation. Oh, to drone. Yeah, you got really high up here. 9 to drone. Oh, look at that. 8 to drone. 8 to drone. Yeah, in this view, you see when you come from 8, you can't even go down. If I go from 9 to drone, I can go down. Anyway, interesting stuff. Oh, there's the fence. I found it. The fence found me. Yeah, so I think I'm discovering this by accident. So I think one of my next videos is going to be on these drone views. Because I haven't seen this written up anywhere. Okay, sorry if I'm bothering you, or boring you, rather. Okay, if you've seen any of my Wacky Wednesday live streams before, then you'll know that I always do some terrible jokes. Some people call them dad jokes, some people call them groaners, whatever. Well, not to disappoint, I have a few that I'll share with you now, and then a few in the second half of the ride. Okay, so here we go. I've written them down because, to be honest, I'm not much with jokes. Okay, so did you know, like, I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. Don't ask me why, but I did. But I don't know what he laced them with because I keep tripping in them. Oh, yeah, that wasn't the greatest joke, but it's actually quite a nice view. I might take a photo of that. Hey, do any of you know someone who might need an arc? I know a guy. Yeah, Noah's Ark. They are kind of dumb jokes, but they do bring a smile to your face. And that's just fine. Okay, well, staying on the religious side, I just did a Noah joke. So this next one also has a bit of religion associated with it, at least for some religions. Any of you know how they make holy water? Why? They just boil the hell out. They just boil the hell out of it. Yeah. Okay. I like that one. Okay, let's go to this number 6 view. Oops, what did I do here? I'm not sure exactly what I've done. Maybe that might do it. Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, here I'm riding inside the Peloton. I see my green screen's out of the way though. It's a bit of a gap. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, I can't, so I gotta get out of this view. No, there's a bit of a gap here too, but just put my arm in front of it so you can't see the gap in the green screen. It's not serious. You'd have to see this green screen I have. It's not a cloth green screen. It's a green screen consisting of 6 sheets of poster paper that I bought at a dollar store. I remember I saying I'm getting some new equipment for Christmas. Well, I'm actually getting a proper green screen. Yeah, just starting this out. I just cribbed together whatever I could, see if I could make it work. And actually, it's working okay. Sometimes I find the biggest challenge is the lighting. I've cribbed together all kinds of lights and try to position them so I don't get a glare off the green screen. Some days it works, like next day I come down with the same setup and it's not working quite so well. I don't know. But they say you shouldn't worry too much about equipment. They worry more about content and just put stuff out, see how the audience responds, see if people like it. And why I'm having fun doing it one way or another. I mean, I love just riding indoors and out. So I'm on the, let's go on the fence here. But, from this view, this is view number 6 from the keyboard. It's a view where you're looking behind yourself. It's actually all right because I'm ahead of the yellow beacon. Keep track where the yellow beacon is. It must be starting to climb now. the #1 view on my keyboard. Just give me a second here. Oh yeah, we're going up the hill. I'm going to look down at my smartphone. I'm giving some ride-ons to some of the people that I follow. Sorry about that. I'm not paying much attention to you. I shouldn't do that, really. One of the things I try to do in the rides that I do is give a ride on to every rider that I follow who's in the same ride as I am. So that's what I'm up to right now. Let's try this trick here. Okay, I've done my duty. I've given ride-ons to everyone I follow who's in this ride. Talking about followers, I think that'll be my next video for next week. So the video will just cover the ways that you can follow people on the companion app, and how you can unfollow people, and how you can remove people that are following you. So those are just the mechanics. But I really want to focus the video on why you follow people, and then the principles that I use in deciding who I will follow, and who I will approve to follow me. And then if I'm following someone, well, or if somebody's following me, what I expect. I guess what I expect the people that follow me, and how I reciprocate. So one of the things I've just said is if I do follow someone, I guess we're taking a break here, or we're going to regroup. If I do follow someone, why? I make sure that we're in the same ride. I give them ride-ons. And to be honest, I regularly check the companion apps. And if there are people that I follow who are riding, well, I'll give them ride-ons. I don't know if we're going yet. There's their yellow beacon, so I guess we're going. Or if they've done rides, I check the activity page, and I'll give them a ride on. So that's what I want to cover in that video. This last video I did was, I think, 8 minutes. I kind of find that too long. Kind of seeing, when I look at some of my videos, and they're 8 minutes or longer. Why? People don't really seem to be, unless they're real dedicated ones. A lot of folks just want to watch for, 3 or 4 minutes, and then they're on to something else. So one of the things I want to do is make this video fairly brief. I also find that it's just taking up too much time. I like to do them, and I don't mind the bit of work, but I don't want it to become an all-consuming affair either. Yeah, so my next video I think will be on following people and your followers and people that follow you. So watch for that coming out probably next Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. There's this perk banner coming up. One thing, if you follow me or watching my videos, I don't have a fast twitch muscle in my body. I can put out some sustained power for a bit. But I'm not much of a sprinter. Like I say, I don't think I have a fast twitch muscle in my body. Okay, we're back up to the yellow beacon. Let's see if we can maybe even stay with yellow beacon. I was riding on Zwift this morning, and I'm trying to have a goal I want to meet by year end. I'll get into that in a moment. Yeah, a goal on Zwift. I'll get into that in a moment. But while I was riding on Zwift, I was watching the eSport World Cycling Championships on Zwift. And both the men and the women rode a 50-kilometer course, basically the figure 8 in reverse. Well, that was kind of fun to watch. It's not quite the same as, see, I gotta slow down here. I'm just zipping through. 17 meters ahead of the yellow beacon. Okay. Not quite the same as watching racing in real life, but interesting enough. So this rider from Germany, male rider from Germany, never heard of him, Osborne. He won the men's race. And there were 2 Danish riders behind him, whose names I can't recall. And then in the women's race, it was a South African woman, Hasso. Oh, geez, I wish I remembered her name. I'm terrible that way. Anyway, South African woman won. She's been doing really well on the eSport circuit. So I think she was probably the race favorite, or one of the race favorites. And she really powered away on the last hill. And I think she just crossed the line. The second rider was Gigante. And it was when she opened up a lead on the hill. That's the Zwift King of the Mountain Hill. It's not a big hill, but there's one section with a 9% grade. And she opened up a gap there. And then another woman, Gigante, came up on her wheel, approaching the finish, but just couldn't get past her. Yeah, so I mentioned this challenge that I set for myself. The challenge is to finish all the Zwift routes by year end. I might have should have checked more closely before I set the challenge for myself, as I may have taken on a bit too much. I'll probably do it, but it's just that I'm going to have to spend so much time on the trainer. So I think I have 8 routes left to do now. And a few big ones. Uber Pretzel, it's the biggest one. And doing the pretzel on Saturday. And the 2 New York Knickerbocker routes. Oh, I just hate riding in New York. I don't know how you feel riding on those glass flyovers in New York. I know they put that in there to just make it look futuristic, but I just hate it. Yeah, and I have the 3 sisters to ride. Okay, some salt in my eyes here. Hold on. Yeah, so I have to have 8 routes to do yet. And the biggest challenge is the Uber Pretzel. That'll be 6 hours probably on the trainer to get that one done. But hey, I like these challenges. They're good. They're good for us. You know, that's what keeps us motivated and keep going. You know, I find that motivate few things that motivate me to keep training and having fun. So I do have fun while I'm training, but a few things will motivate me. Set personal challenges, like, okay, we'll do all these routes by year end. Another one I mentioned, these long rides I was doing. That was a challenge that was set by Rand in Ontario, and I took it up. So challenges like that motivate me. Enter events. I don't enter events to race, but more to participate. Enter Grand Fondos, riding tours, cross-country ski events, triathlons. But typically, I'm not entering as a competitor. I'm entering as a participator, but I still want to do my best. And some of those events I'm entering, like I've done a few Ironman events, 4 to be exact. I mean, even just to participate and finish, you do need to train diligently. And the other way to motivate, and I get motivated, is by doing group rides. And so you want to show up to be with your friends. And they're expecting you to show up. So it's a big motivator just to having the social interaction. You know, that's especially true. We weren't aware of it before. We sure are aware of it this year with COVID-19. I know all my club rides were canceled, so I'm not seeing the people that I normally cycle with. I'm not seeing. It's not that I'm not seeing them regularly. I'm not seeing them all at all. The only contact I have with some of them is through social media. And to be honest, that's why I got into this group riding on Zwift. So I was doing a lot of training with Trainer Road, but that's pretty well almost all solitary. So they have introduced basically doing workouts with video feeds. It's almost like workouts with Zoom. I did a few of those. I enjoyed those. They were fun. But yeah, I wanted to do group. I missed group riding, and that's how I got into with this COVID-19 and our club rides canceled. Why? I'm doing group riding now on Zwift, and I like it. And I'm meeting new people electronically and having some interaction that way. So it's been good. And hopefully you're finding some motivation for yourself one way or another. Guess all of us get motivated sometimes by watching races or watching videos like this. They're also motivating. Hearing stories about tremendous accomplishments that some people do running or on a bike or any manner of endurance sports. Climbing, I guess I'm not into climbing, but climbing, hiking. I need a drink of water. Should have had a drink earlier. Well, I think we're going to be climbing that hill one more time. Okay, it's you got them only. Geez, time's really flying here. Having so much fun. I'm laughing because I got my jokes that I'm going to torture you with. I actually think this second set of jokes might be a bit better. Wait till I'm using this Pax Neo 2T and I've got the road effect on, so it's making a lot of noise as I'm going over these cobbles. Yeah, to be honest, I got this Max TO2, Max Neo 2T, and I just love it. Okay. There were two antennas that met on a roof. There were two antennas that met on a roof, fell in love, and they got married. The ceremony wasn't much, but the reception was sure excellent. Yeah, that's I guess it's funny. Want to hear a joke about a piece of paper? Uh, I don't think so. It's terrible. Oh, when I read that one, I just loved it. Yeah, okay, here we are going up this hill. Okay, last joke. What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire? Frostbite. Oh, oh, I love that one. That's really funny. I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes. Yeah, so I guess you know what I'll be doing this week with my challenge to finish all the routes. Just doing lots of riding. Yeah, and you know, when I'm doing these route badges, I have looked for some group rides to do them with. Like, for example, I'm doing the pretzel with a big meetup on Saturday morning, but some of them I just do on my own. And if I'm just doing it to do the ride, why, I don't necessarily press myself that hard on the ride. Now, I did have one screw up yesterday and today with that endeavor. I hate to admit it, but I thought I still needed the out and back route badge. So I found this sea level ride. It was associated with Trek. And it was being led by Longo Borghini and Tom Scugins. Anyway, so I did this ride yesterday morning, and it was sea level ride, and I rode it pretty hard. Like, very hard for me, anyway. So we'll wait for the yellow beacon here again. I don't know if we should or not. I guess I'm rolling down the hill already. Look behind us here. The last time I got caught, I guess I was looking ahead and I didn't see where the yellow beacon was. And then he caught me, and all of a sudden I had to chase. So we'll go to this view where I'm looking behind. We only got 6 minutes left. Yeah, so I do the ride, and we didn't finish the full course, so I had to keep going for a bit. Anyway, I get past the kilometers where I think I should get the badge, and no badge. You know, so I actually went quite a bit past, 6 or 7 kilometers past where I thought I should have gotten the badge. Anyway, I never did get the badge. So I'm kicked as hell. So I said to myself this morning, okay, well, I'll redo the route this morning. And I mentioned I was watching the Z-Sport, this UCI World Cycling Championship on Zwift. I was watching that this morning. Anyway, so I figured, okay, I'll ride that course while I'm watching those championships. So I ride the course. Again, no badge. I mean, what the heck is going on? So then I go on Zwift and I check the badges that I have. Lo and behold, I already have that badge. Oh my goodness. So either I got it yesterday and I didn't see it. No, I didn't get it yesterday. So I rolled that course twice, thinking I needed that badge. and I already had. Oh, how crazy is that? But then I found a badge that I thought I already had, Mountain 8, that I don't have yet. So now I've got to ride that one. So anyway, the bottom line is I got to do a lot more riding. Crazy. Oh well. Just doing it for fun. Sometimes we can't be too serious with ourselves. Anyway, let me know what you're doing. If you're watching this, leave a note in the comments. I think some people at live stream, they are able to respond to comments. I don't know, I haven't quite figured out how to do that yet. I guess if I keep doing these live streams, I will figure that out. But yeah, so yeah, please leave a comment. Let me know what you have planned for the week ahead. I'd be interested in if you'd share with us or share with me what challenges you're taking on, what motivates you, and do you have any suggestions of topics that you'd like me to cover off in one of my videos or talk about on this live stream? Why, let me know that. And any suggestions that you have of how I can improve what I'm doing, hey, can only help. And perhaps I'll look out down the ways to see how we can do some, like how I can check out your comments while I'm writing this and respond in real time. Yeah, I think if we can make this more interactive, we can make this why it's more engaging for you and frankly for me as well. So we'll look into that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed sharing the ride with me. If you've been hanging in there, or even if you've just been popping in or out, and let me know if you've liked what I'm doing by clicking on the thumbs up. And hey, if you like what I'm doing here on YouTube, why subscribe to my channel, Endurance Sweat. And I hope to live stream again next Wednesday for the Herd's Wacky Wednesday. Just kind of a fun thing to do. Until next time, train hard and have fun. Hopefully you can join me next week.